So I've been playing football for over 12 years now, and in that time, I have had my fair share of rejections. So here are some of the most absurd reasons that I got rejected for in football, be it from the national team, a trial, or even just a coach not wanting to start me in the starting 11. The first one, gender. When I was 15, I went for a football trial, and I'm not going to name the trial, but during this trial, there were almost 8,000 players that came there, and out of the 8,000, a few would make it to the finalists. For me, luckily, I was one of the finalists, and I was one of the 14 that were there, not to mention the only girl that was there. And the trial was such that two of the winners would be selected to go to England to showcase their talent there for an opportunity to be picked up by an academy. So when the final round of the trial came around, we started doing the drills and whatnot, and I was doing really well. In fact, I don't even remember making a significant mistake during that trial. So when the time for the results came, I came in third. And you might think that maybe the boys were just better, or they were stronger, or they were quicker. And sure, if that was the case, I would have accepted it. But when I did ask the coaches for feedback and why wasn't I selected and what should I work on, I was told that the reason I wasn't selected in the top two was because the head coach that made the decision at that time thought that I wouldn't be able to handle the intensity in England because I was a girl. It had nothing to do with my physicality, nothing to do with my ability. He just thought that it would be better for a boy to go because the boy would be able to handle the intensity in England better. And the coach that I was speaking to said that the coaches there, some of them even said that they wanted me to be in the top two because I was showcasing ability. But the head coach decided, nah, he doesn't want a girl to go because he isn't sure whether or not she'll be able to handle the training intensity and the mentality aspect of it. And so I have been rejected from a trial because I'm a girl. Now, the second reason that I got rejected was because of my postcode, and this was by the national team. So when I was 16, I went for a national team trial in the capital city, which is in Kuala Lumpur. And a few weeks after the trial, when I was in school, I was actually called to the principal's office because a letter had arrived for me. And in this letter, it was stated that I was selected to be a part of the national team. So naturally, I took the letter, I went to my class teacher, I told her about it, and then I went back to class and I told all my classmates about it. I was ecstatic. It was my first time being called up to the national team. So I went home, I packed my bags, I skipped my homework, I was prepping to go for camp, and when the day came, my dad and my entire family drove me to camp. Now, the campsite that I was invited to is half an hour from where I live. And so we drove there, and 5 minutes before arriving at the camp, we stopped at a traffic light. And my dad asked me, "Did you bring your IC?" And I remember pretending to check my pockets, knowing very well that it wasn't there. And so I told my dad that I didn't have it, and I got lectured for it, and we drove all the way back home, another half an hour, to pick up my IC, and then drove all the way back. So what was supposed to be a half an hour journey ended up being a 90-minute journey. Now, when we arrived at camp, as we walked into the camp, we saw a coach walking back with the girls from training. And so my family and I, we approached the coach and we showed him the letter. And as he's reading through this letter, he pauses and he goes, "Oh, this was a mistake. We've already done the selection." And so as we chat with him, I find out that the selection process had actually already been done in Kuala Lumpur, and the girls that were invited here to this camp were the final selected ones. And the letter that I received it late. The reason I wasn't invited to camp was because the staff had decided that it was too many days of school for me to miss, and therefore they were not going to call me to camp. So they rejected from calling me to trial because I lived too far away. So naturally, we went home empty-handed. I remember reaching home and going straight to my room, and I cried for about 20 minutes, and my dad tried to console me. But the most frustrating part of it is no one actually asked me if I was okay with missing school. No one actually asked my parents if they were okay with me missing school. That decision was made on my behalf. It was an opportunity that would have gotten me seen by the national team, but unfortunately, my postcode cost me that opportunity. Now, the third reason that I got rejected was because of my weight. So when I was 21, I was playing the state league for this team where I wasn't getting a lot of minutes. And when I talked to the coach about it, he said that the way I play as a striker is not exactly the way that he wants to play. It doesn't fit his system of play. And while I understand that, I also feel like if more information had been given, I would have adapted my game a little bit. But anyway, I kept training, I kept playing, asking for feedback. And at one point, I was told by the coach that I needed to increase my speed, which was true. I wasn't the fastest player out there. But the suggestion that I was given was that I needed to lose weight in order to improve my speed. And honestly, there are so many reasons why losing weight to improve your speed doesn't add up. Number one, if weight really was the case, why are rugby players so fast? Why are players like Traore so quick? Clearly, they have a lot of mass on them, but it's not the mass that is slowing them down. Number two, this coach had no idea about how I was training, or how I was eating, or how much I was eating, whether or not I should even be eating less to improve my performance. And bear in mind, I wasn't overweight or anything. I was almost the same as you see me right now. In fact, right now, I'm heavier than what I used to be. And at that time, I had gained a little weight from what I was previously. And gaining that weight helped me reduce the injuries that I had. And so, me losing weight would also mean that I go back into that state of being very injury prone, which I really didn't want to do. And so, it wasn't really weight that I needed to lose, but more so, I just needed to be able to train my fast twitch muscle fibers, which were not great. And it's something that I'm still training till this day. But I think that's also such a misconception that we have about footballers, that they need to look a certain way or they need to be a certain weight. There are idealities that can go into it, but unless you're giving the player a really rigorous plan or really well structured plan based off their dietary requirements or based off how much of training that they're doing, and you're constantly monitoring them, I don't think telling a player to lose weight so that she gets quicker is a great idea. If he had provided me with a sprint training plan instead, I think I would have gotten quicker a lot faster. And then, of course, there are also the other comments where you get told that football is not for girls, you shouldn't play out in the sun too much, you'll get really dark, you shouldn't sweat too much, it's not very ladylike, you should play netball instead, blah blah blah. And these are all things that I have actually been told throughout my playing career. So, girls and boys, when they tell you that you can't make it, don't listen to them. And let me know in the comments down below what are your most absurd reasons for getting rejected or getting put on the sideline by your team or by your coaches. Thank you for watching. I hope you've gained something valuable from this video.